Welcome to Krueger Dairy. This is our 4th generation dairy farm, me being the 4th. We milk about 200 cows and have 600 head total on the farm. Our work day consists of getting up at 3 and being done at about 7, eating supper, watching TV for a little bit, and going to bed. Days go by quick, and it is nice to have nice weather, but that doesn't always happen. But we work through it throughout the day. By first putting on our barn clothes and finish by tying our boots. And you gotta make sure your boots are nice and secure because they're in for a long day ahead of them. This is where we keep all of our milking cows. This is called our freestyle barn. This is where we run the cows up. This is called the holding area. We run about 150 cows through here. And it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We milk twice a day. This is me
closing the cow gate. This pushes the cows for us. This is cows walking into the barn. This is my dad milking the cow. First we dip, then we wipe, and then we put on the milker. Our cows average about 90 pounds of milk each cow. This is an up close of the milker. Usually takes about 2 minutes a cow, and it can read our temperature and everything. And this is us milking, some action shots of cows running into the barn, cows getting let out of the barn, and us rotating. Usually goes pretty smoothly. As you see, I just pushed the button, and that is to push the crowd gate. Here's the cows exiting the barn. Once the freestyle barn is scraped, they then exit.
First, we dump our dry ingredients in: roasted beans, soybean meal, and corn. We put fibers into the batch, hay as you can see me doing now, and a little bit of protein. This is us putting sweet energy in. It is to give the cows energy and to produce more milk. We then proceed to drive to the bunker, which we get sweet corn silage, which that is sweet corn all ground up, and it helps the cows digest their food better and helps them to produce more milk because there's milk in there. We then proceed to clean up the feed so we have a fresh batch put down and not the old stuff. We then proceed to put in corn silage, which is, if you see and drive by roads and there's big field corn, that is all chopped up and ground up, and that's what we're dumping in right now. Our final ingredient is water. The reason why we add water is to make the feed more moisturized so it's not so dry so the cows eat it better. Here's us doing the final step, dumping the feed for the cows. So to start off, we start filling buckets for calves. There's 6 things of water that we do. This is our pasteurizer that pasteurizes the milk. We heat it at 140 degrees for an hour and 30 minutes, and it gets all the antibiotics out. After we empty the pasteurizer, we then put a sanitized rinse cycle in to clean all the bacteria and everything out, and we have the final product. We then head up to the calf huts where we start feeding the baby calves. The first thing we do is we start by feeding all the bottles. There are 4 total bottles, but I just showed you one and what it's like to feed one. This is a close-up of feeding a month-old calf. We usually feed them milk from the pitcher for about 2 months, so they are in a hut like this for at least 3 months before they get moved. We then go back to feed water. We don't use a pitcher because it's water and it just hydrates them. It doesn't have any protein or anything where they can get a gut ache or be sick. Here is how we scrape and bed our dry cow barn along with all the other barns. First, we start by loading wood chips and shavings into our bucket. We then continue to carry the shavings into the dry cow barn. This is what we call our bedding pack, so we drive in here and you can see me in a couple of seconds throwing bedding on the ground. This is to reduce sore feet and mastitis and swollen udders. Once we are finished, we run them all out of the walk and run them back into their bedding pack, and you can see some of them jumping around because they're excited to have fresh bedding.
We finally then come in with the bobcat again and scoop all the manure up and push it against the wall so the cows don't have to walk through it.
The workday is complete and we're ready to do it again tomorrow at 3 a.m. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something.